Alright, so this is day 6 of the water fast. I just got back from the gym and took a shower, and now I realize I probably didn't drink enough water at the gym because I was trying to save water. So I ended up using about 30.6 gallons of water today. Not as good as yesterday, not as good as the day before, but the whole point, I guess, is to get it down and at least think about your water usage. So hopefully tomorrow, my last day, I can pull it together. But yeah, and so I actually had a few opportunities to talk to some of my friends again today about the water fast. And my friend was like, "Oh, what was that whole fasting thing about?" Because I put it on my Snapchat story that I was gonna do like a water fast. And so I was like telling them about that. They all think that it's like I'm not gonna be drinking any water. I don't know. They're like, "Oh, so you're gonna just like basically die of thirst?" I'm like, no. I just explained to them basically they want to be under 28 gallons of water, and it's pretty much because like that's as much as, you know, a person would need for daily activities on average, but you just want to try to be below that. And so I kind of described that to them. They're like, "Oh, you know, I never really thought about that before. That's kind of interesting." So that was nice to be able to talk to some people about that and maybe bring their attention to it more, because I even went into how electricity and oil and gasoline and all that stuff goes, actually has like a water footprint. So it's kind of interesting there. And I remember yesterday in my video I wanted to talk more about water on as like a global issue, I guess I should say, and as a social issue. So I'll say like a social issue on like a more global scale. So in my first video I talked more about avocado growers taking water in the shared water table that's like shared with Mexico, and how that was like not a civil rights issue, but just I guess like a social issue and inequality occurring there. And then I was looking at National Geographic today about water inequality, and this goes over Africa, sub-Saharan Africa mostly, and just going over some statistics about the water that they use there. And so I have it pulled up on my computer, so I might just read a few statistics and discuss them a little bit. But I'll just read the few that kind of stood out to me. But I think that it's pretty interesting that 29% of people globally, so like on a global scale, apparently suffer from lack of access to safely managed drinking water. So that's like a crazy amount of the human population. And like I said, it just seems like there's this huge disproportion. Like, we can turn on our faucets here and we can have as much water as we want, it seems, without, I mean, obviously we get charged for it, but that's not stopping the amount of water coming out of my faucet. But they don't have like safe things, and I know that obviously every place is different geographically around the globe, but that just doesn't seem fair. And specifically to sub-Saharan Africa, there's a couple of statistics here that were very disappointing. But first of all, at least in that area in Africa, 20% of the population lives below the poverty line. So keeping that in mind, you know, you're going to have people that do not obviously have indoor plumbing, and it's very impoverished. So 75% of the drinking water is actually contaminated with fecal matter. So obviously you cannot have people drinking that. And it's obviously a health issue, and it's not going to get better unless the country has better infrastructure, basically. And then the most important one that I wanted to talk about was that more than 25% of the population has to walk 30 minutes or more to collect water. And that burden falls on mostly women and girls, and not usually men. So then it's inequality between men and women and their society. And I feel like in a lot of impoverished countries and third world countries, I feel like you do see a lot of oppression with women. And it's interesting to see how water as a resource can add, or the lack of water, I should say, in an area can add to that oppression. So, obviously, like I said, places are different geographically all over the world, but in the situation with Mexico, if there was a country that was impoverished and another country was using a shared reservoir for water, the people in the impoverished country had to walk farther to get their water, mostly women, causing, more of a gender divide. Like, wouldn't the country that's using all that water be, kind of causing more of an issue socially with the impaired party? Like, I know that's a little bit far-fetched because I don't have a specific example, but it's interesting how we as humans even contribute to that. So we think that we're just using this person's water and it's just an issue of they need the water and we're using it, or vice versa, but it really affects way more than that. It can be a social issue, and definitely an environmental injustice. So there's way more levels to this water crisis, I guess you could say, than meets the eye. And I definitely thought about most of these levels like individually, but I never really thought about it as a social issue, and especially I didn't really think about it as a gender divide, or causing gender divide either, which definitely isn't going to help a third world country develop either. So I never really thought about it like that, but I think that it's good to realize that there are a lot of layers to this issue. So yeah, I think that tomorrow I'm gonna see what else I can find. Maybe I'll turn another page and I'll see if there's anything else that I'm missing as far as like the layers of this issue go. I'm sure there's something I'm missing, and it's only 7 days, but I look forward to kind of wrapping things up and learning more about this. It's definitely been a really good experience, even though I haven't been able to fast as well as I wish I had, but it's definitely been a good experience. So I'll post for my last time tomorrow.